Kablamo! If I was to describe my first go on Motorstorm Apocalypse in one word, it would be wow. If I was to describe it in 6 words, it would be wow, wow, wow. Oh, I crashed. Kasplat! The 4th instalment of Sony's Motorstorm franchise and the 3rd on the PS3 is another chaotic off-road racer which is soaked in a cocktail of nitrous oxide and adrenaline. After struggling to find another extreme natural environment to set this game in, Evolution Studios have decided to hold the Motorstorm Festival in an urban area. An urban area with a twist. And that twist is an apocalypse! So, as you hurtle around the tracks bumper to bumper with other racers, you will also have to contend with earthquakes, storms, hurricanes, and ginormous explosions. Blamington! The single-player campaign is split into 3 different difficulty levels: Rookie, Pro, and Veteran. These levels are all tied together by a completely pointless storyline, which is told in a weird moving comic book style, which introduces us to the various cliched characters who are attending the Motorstorm Festival. There is no real point to this other than to give us reasons behind why people are stupid enough to race in the middle of a natural disaster area, and because of this I found myself skipping the many cutscenes so I could jump straight into the action.
Well, I'm gonna win. Because that is what I do.
Fadoosh! In-game, Motorstorm Apocalypse is an oral and visual spectacle, with pumping music driving the insane atmosphere. I'd even be tempted to say it's more of an action game than a racer, thanks to the glorious set pieces and the ability to shunt people off the tracks with a sideways boost. So I will. Motorstorm seems more of an action game to me than an actual racer. Sure, it's an arcade racer, so you can keep your finger on the throttle and defy the laws of physics with mega jumps and unrealistic cornering, but the game plays out like an interactive action movie, so you'll be less worried about your racing line and more worried about keeping your bones inside your skin. Boom ting! The amount of on-screen chaos is at times too much for people with normal brains to comprehend. Even an attention deficit disorder child high on coffee and tang-fastic Haribos would struggle to keep up with the action at times, I reckons, and because of this you will more than likely spend a lot of your race time slamming headfirst into the many obstacles which litter the track. It can be savagely frustrating, but the fact that crashing hardly penalises you helps calm that anger beast, as it's pretty easy to catch up after each crash, and on the earlier levels you're often not placed too far behind the position you were originally in. Badoosh! Sometimes the crash detection is a little off, which can be joypad-throwingly aggravating. There are times when bashing straight into a burning car may only spin you slightly, and others where clipping a tiny rise in the pavement will send your car into a slow-mo spin of fiery death. Couple this with racers who will barge into you and push you off course just as you think you are getting up a good speed, and the action can often turn to anger. But thankfully, the amount of satisfaction you get when you boost through the finish line a fraction of a second in front of the offending pack is well worth the perseverance. Kablooey! There are many vehicles to drive around the city, and each vehicle controls differently. Smaller ones like the ATV or motorbike are super nippy, but can be bullied and even crushed by the larger, slower vehicles like the monster truck, and during the campaign you never get to choose your vehicle, so you will have to learn how to master each one if you want to get through it all in one piece. Perfecting the boost is a necessity for success here. As per the older Motorstorms, you will get a self-replenishing boost which will let you zoom past your opponents. Don't use it for too long though, because if you do, your engine will overheat, an alarm will sound, and then your metal chariot will go a bang bang. Vaboom! What does a successful racing game need? If you answered cars, you're right. But it also needs a great online mode because racing against your mates is infinitely better than racing against computer AI. And Motorstorm delivers here with spectacular results. The fast-paced, eye-melting action is still present in multiplayer, but the whole experience is improved on immensely when you don't have to put up with the game's hit-and-miss AI. Adding to the action game analogy thingy I done earlier, in Apocalypse's multiplayer mode, you will also now get vehicle perks, ranks, customizations, and even the ability to place bets on which gamers you think you will beat in a race. It's almost like someone ripped the legs off all the soldiers in Codblops's wager matches and glued wheels onto their torsos. Wow, that was a weird analogy, even for me. Vavavoom! Motorstorm Apocalypse is an assault on the senses. It pours petrol into your eyes, sets fire to them, and then crashes a burning bus right into them, all while the pumping soundtrack raises your pulse and helps heighten the excitement of the on-screen action. It's edge-of-your-seat racing, even though racing purists would only call it a racing game in the loosest sense. And to be honest, I kind of agree with them. It's a spectacular, adrenaline-soaked, action-packed arcade racer with amazing graphics and a top-notch multiplayer. And for quick bursts of gaming, you'd be hard-pressed to beat Motorstorm Apocalypse. But for those of you looking for a racer with a bit of depth and some actual proper racing, it's probably best to look elsewhere.